Okay, so now we've briefly gone over basic definitions of the five big ideas. Usually, we can think of them as these small islands because the definitions sound very interesting or relatively simple. But if we take a closer look at any of these, like phonemic awareness, we realize that actually it's not that so simple. And there's a multitude of things going on and interactions with all the different elements. And it's quite an in-depth and complicated area of study. And so it's difficult to try and worry about everything at once. The same with alphabetic principle. We can, even though it's not as complicated as something like phonemic awareness, it still has very strong foundational roots in a number of key elements, which, unless you have solid foundations, it's very difficult to build upon all of those. And same with fluency. We start looking at a very sort of set amount of different skills and strategies, but there's still a lot of stable, firm things to be learned going on there. And vocabulary, once we start looking at that closely, we realize, well, wait a minute, this is like huge and it's ancient. There's so many different things going on here, and it's its own massive study in itself. We've got words that are functioning like relics and different cultural elements going on, and because it is so old, it becomes extremely complicated. And then with comprehension, we've got our basic mechanics sort of running like a well-oiled machine with a number of processes going on, but at the same time, there's a certain amount of navel gazing going on and thinking about thinking and different philosophies. So it becomes all these areas become quite difficult. So it's easier just to look at them and look at how they can each have knock-on effects when you're looking at it from a beginning position. And it's easier to look at these more carefully if you've got the context of a sentence to study them from. So for example, if we look at the bridge between phonemic awareness and the alphabetic principle, that bridge is going to be called, letter sound correspondences. And that means taking the individual phonemes or segmented sounds and then trying to attach them to letters. And you'll see this often enough used with different phonics or letter sound activities that you see in classrooms. So relatively straightforward, but still complicated in itself if things aren't going right. Then, if we look at fluency, we want to develop our fluency skills, we need to start borrowing from phonemic awareness and from phonemic awareness. We're mainly at the beginning borrowing things like segmenting, so we can identify individual phonemes, and then attaching the sounds, and learning a multitude of other skills like word families, blending actual letters together, or graphemes, and we need to practice a lot of reading by ourselves, guided reading. Okay, so then once we've got onset rhyme, we can go, okay, the og, the it, at, cat. And so it becomes easier to read. And because we have this basic fluency going along, when we're looking at words like the, which are phonetically irregular, we can, because there's a bit of cognitive load taken off, we can make predictions as to what the is. Okay, so and then linking from fluency to vocabulary, because we have this lesser cognitive load going on, we can make predictions of words, and we can also assign meaning to actual patterns of words. So, for example, we can learn that this animal here is a dog. Okay? And then this other animal here is a cat. And providing our vocabulary development's going okay, we can understand what byte is, or bit. Okay, so when we have a sentence, we go, okay, well here we can make a prediction that the HE is the, and the dog bit the cat. Okay, and then the link from vocabulary. So even though vocabulary enables us with a sort of rudimentary understanding of comprehension, we still need to move on to learning specific strategies and philosophies on how to understand the text. And then comprehension again is going to feed on back into our phonemic awareness.